Come on in. Welcome to Idled Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're talking about Survivor's craziest meltdowns at camper challenges. Last week, we looked at the wildest tribal council meltdowns of all time, from Jenny taking a stand to Jeff holding some hands. So today, I thought it's only fair to also look at the meltdowns which took place away from Jeff's judging eyes. Almost everything is on the table here, from nicotine withdrawals to Applebee's withdrawals. However, if it's not fun to joke around about, don't expect to see it here. We're keeping this one firmly in the realm of fun, and I am 150 to 200% happy with that decision. So sit down in your thinking seat, order yourself a Bourbon Burger, but maybe skip the cider ice as we talk about 5 of Survivor's wildest meltdowns of all time. At number 5 is Rupert interrogating Johnny Fairplay in Survivor Pearl Islands. Let's start with an underrated freakout. When you think of Rupert, you probably think of the silly stuff. The tie-dye shirt, the roaring at challenges, the constant, frustratingly ever-present making out with his wife. Maybe you even think about that time he debated Mike Pence, but you probably don't think about the time he nearly murdered Johnny Fairplay. In episode 6 of Pearl Islands, Trish and Fairplay mounted a failed coup against Rupert, hoping to bring Sean in to take a big shot at the big man. Sean ultimately backed out of the deal, and Trish was voted out 4-2 instead, leaving Fairplay in the game as the lone Rupert voter. Rupert knew Trish was one of those votes, but he really wanted to know who the other one was, and he had an inkling of where it may have come from.
John?
Yeah,
Who the hell voted for me?
I did.
What the was that tonight?
I was down for Drake, dude. I would made a decision.
Damn it, look at me!
I'm looking at
what
you.
What the was that?
I
tonight?
made a decision based on...
You're starting this now!
He was on the Heroes tribe, by the way. In a very Lex-ish move, Rupert legit looks like he's about to wring Fairplay's neck in retaliation for one measly vote, and Fairplay has a rare moment of sympathy when he doesn't really escalate the fight, likely knowing that doing so would result in at least a few of his teeth exiting his skull. On a side note, later on this episode, Sean gets in Fairplay's face too, clearly trying to start something, to which Fairplay says, "Men don't get in fights, Neanderthals do." I did not have Johnny Fairplay being a pacifist on my Survivor bingo card. The Rupert and Fairplay argument was actually voted as Best Survivor Fight at America's Tribal Council, the post-All-Stars reunion, where America also voted on other important categories like Hottest Survivor Babe. And yet, I think after 4 appearances, a lot of people these days forget that Rupert lost his shit this hard over copping 1 vote. So I guess we can add Rupert to the long list of people who have wanted to kill Johnny Fairplay. At number 4 is Jatia dumping rice in the fire in Survivor Cagayan. How do you pick a favorite rice destroyer in Survivor? You could go with Brandon, who threw out the tribe's rice supply in a freak out, but I talked about him last week. You could go with Dan, who eviscerated Chase Rice at Final Tribal Council. You could even go with Keith, who destroyed the rice with his trash cooking. But for my money, the greatest rice destroyer in Survivor history is Jatia. By the second round of the season, Jatia was already on borrowed time. She was horrible in the challenges, everyone was annoyed at how overbearing she was while building the shelter. So when Luzon lost their second immunity challenge in a row, the vote is a slam dunk, just vote Jatia out. This is such a done deal in Garrett's mind that he shuts camp discussions down, assuming that Jatia's elimination is so obvious that no one even needs to talk. But this understandably annoys Tasha, who says they should at least, talk about the vote. So everyone leaves camp except Jatia, whose game has seemingly been put on ice. So she decides if they're voting her out, they're doing it hungry.
I'm coming in hot. It's gonna be guns blazing. I'm going in like a crazy one, like a banshee. That's why they had people guarding you. I was like the mental patient, and then you left the mental patient alone, and I went crazy.
Truly one of the great moments in Survivor history. This is the episode I show people to hook them. This moment is made even more legendary by the fact that Jatia survived this vote for millennia. Since the emergence of early civilizations in the prehistorical era, societies have thrown out troublesome members who damage their crops, poison their wells, or otherwise messed with the next meal. This is a base instinct, even pack animals throw out problem members. And yet the Luzon tribe eschewed thousands of years of human evolution moments later. Screw the delicate development of social structures over thousands of years. Screw our basest of instincts. Let's vote out this guy instead. Remarkable. Even more remarkable is that they actually win the next immunity challenge, proving them right. Wow. Put their tribe picture in the Smithsonian. At number 3 is Shane needing a smoke in Survivor Exile Island. Shane is just the type of player they don't cast anymore, for better or worse. Unpredictable, confrontational, constantly naked. Shane was a powder keg waiting to go off in an explosion of unacceptable behavior, and all of his issues were exaggerated by the nicotine withdrawals he was undergoing this season. Shane was a 3-pack-a-day smoker who went cold turkey for Survivor, and the horrible nicotine withdrawal made his entire personality incredibly volatile. More so. Shane is the kind of guy where he's really funny and fun to be around, but any little thing can set him off, and so people would be joking around with him, something they said would annoy him, and he'd just go off, the other person not realizing Shane wasn't doing a bit until he was screaming in their face. You could list any number of Shane freakouts in this spot. A personal favorite of mine is when he threatens to kill Courtney in her shitty apartment, but my favorite is probably when he gets very possessive over a stump. Just watch how quickly he goes from goofy Shane to 20 to life Shane.
This is my Shane's thinking seat. It's mine for the rest of the... Please, actually, could no one else sit on my thinking seat? Please.
Why does it have to be yours?
Because I picked it. You want this one? I'll go get another one! I want one! This one! If you want this one, I'll go get another one! I just want mine! This one!
Quick, someone go trade Bruce for a pack of smokes. Shane had multiple freakouts this season, but for me, none exemplify the unique volatility of Shane Powers more than this scene. In hindsight, this cig he copped on a village reward probably saved Courtney's life. At number 2 is Banu cursing God in Survivor 46. Welcome to the Survivor 46 portion of the video. When Banu realized the Yanu tribe was circling the drain and he was almost certainly next to go after Jelinski and Jess, he had a full-blown meltdown lasting 2 full episodes. Week to week, this was exhausting, as the threat of Banu somehow making the merge and thus doing this all season loomed over our heads like a guillotine. After the fact, with the benefit of hindsight and with the ability to binge the Banu saga in 4 hours instead of 4 weeks, this is one of the funniest pre-merge arcs of all time. In episode 3, Banu realized he was the odd man out on Yanu, resulting in increasingly desperate ploys to stay in the game, all of which backfired. First, he becomes Q's apprentice, hoping that Q can coach him into a better player, but that doesn't happen because, you know, this is Q. Then he goes on a journey, hoping he'll find some sort of advantage, only for him to lose his vote. Finally, an idol hunt, which is only a waste of time because the idol is already in Tiff's pocket. When Yanu lose the 4th immunity challenge, it's very clear to Banu that his game is over. So clear at one point that he curses God, angry with him for putting him on Survivor only to make him an early boot.
I'm mad at myself, and I'm mad at him. If this is what you wanted, if you wanted to end my story so soon, you shouldn't have put me on Survivor in the first place.
I'm so sorry, Banu.
I've given it my all.
You do remember how God charitably gave you an extra week in the game by cursing Randon, right? I love that we can watch him go through the 5 stages of grief right before our eyes. First, denial, wherein Banu believes he has a sliver of hope by attaching himself to Q. Then anger, at Kenzie, at Tiff, and especially at God. Then we reach bargaining. Oh boy, do we reach bargaining. Then depression, the dark, stormy clouds, more crying and lashing out. And by tribal council, he is fully at acceptance, having found peace with his failure in the game and ready to go home. There's nothing else like it, honestly. And the best part is, this isn't even the best freakout of Survivor 46. At number 1 is Liz wanting some Applebees, also in Survivor 46. In the annals of new era Survivor sob stories, I eat a specific burger at this chain restaurant on a specific night may be my favorite. Second is JD having glasses, then taking off his glasses. Yes, Liz had a very personal connection to Applebee's, which is already a very funny concept. She would eat the Bourbon Burger with her daughter here every Wednesday, then watch Survivor. And wouldn't you know it, this mid-merge reward is this particular restaurant, and wouldn't you know it, again, they even have this particular burger on the menu. What are the odds? Liz was very motivated and actually almost wins this reward on her very first shot, but ultimately comes up just short. Maybe she could have used JD's glasses. I don't know, but Q ultimately wins this, a guy who Liz literally voted for last night. Survivor wisdom holds that when you're picking who goes on a reward with you, you generally want to pick people who haven't been on many rewards, if it makes strategic sense, because it's an easy way to buy goodwill in the game. And yet, when has Q ever exhibited Survivor wisdom? Despite getting a whopping 3 picks to take with him, and knowing Liz's personal connection to this particular chain restaurant, and knowing that her allergies have prevented her from eating much this entire season, and Jeff even giving him a hint to just take Liz, Q opts to bring Tiffany, then Maria, then Kenzie to Applebee's, and Liz takes it well.
I'm pissed! Y'all say you ain't gone without eating? I see you eat every day! Q, you almost blew up my whole game!
Instant Hall of Fame clip. The comical amount of people Q gets to choose only makes it funnier every time he nonchalantly chooses not to bring Liz. Then the freakout, accentuated by Venus's attempted hug. Then throwing to Jeff's apply to be on Survivor spiel with the shrugged shoulders right after is the cherry on top. In the television broadcast version of this episode, this was followed immediately by an Applebee's ad. Pure, sponsored perfection. Finally, to really put salt in Liz's wound, the reward winners barely even touch the coveted Bourbon Burger because they filled up on appetizers. So these mostly just go in the trash. Congratulations, Applebee's marketing team. Money very well spent. Got nothing else for you. You know, a Bourbon Burger sounded pretty good tonight, so if you want to help me get that, like and subscribe, and I'll get you more Survivor content just like this. Until next time, don't get idled out.